Hey guys, it is Tristan with Nerdette's NewsStand, and yesterday I talked a lot about Future State. I talked about my excitement for it, and I talked just exactly what it would entail. Well, this is kind of spinning off of that, but also in a sense all by itself, if that even makes sense, right? So what people need to remember is this. Woke is when SJW politics or such matters are shoved blatantly in your face. Progressive politics preaching. When you're told how to vote. When you're told you're a bigot or wrong for being white. That is what woke is. It's usually done to kind of appeal to these SJW types, right? Or to preach. Simple as that. That's really why they do it. Things can be redesigned and redone, such as in the state of Future State, in a different way, without being woke. Nothing about Future State, in my opinion, screamed preachy or SJW. I would call it out. And to be honest, SJW politics can be done correctly. I know I use this example a lot when talking about this sort of situation, but Detroit Become Human? It's one of my favorite video games. It's probably top 10 of all time. It has an onslaught of SJW politics, and it's flawlessly done. Nobody complained because it was done correctly. It wasn't shoved in your face. It was just a great video game. That was SJW politics. I would say The Last of Us 2, but then I'd have a heck of a lot of comments speaking otherwise. I don't think it was necessarily the video game that was done wrong. It was the way it was handled by Naughty Dog, right? So let's not even get into that. Yesterday, I heard so much filth. I mean, straight up filth. Characters being made fun of for their skin colors or disabilities. Jackson Hyde literally being called, "Come in my ocean." And then, and this is how I know most of these people that are talking about this, right, don't necessarily read current comics. I'm not talking about comics in general. I have no doubt that they do. But another comment that was made. Flat-chested female Aqua Woman. She's a child, you fucking sicko. If you read them, you would know that that's not Mira, who a lot of people said it was. That's Andy Curry, Mira, and Arthur's daughter. It's so silly to do this. It really is. But we're gonna tear into a couple of these opinions, right? Let's tear into another argument that I heard a lot of. Luke Fox shouldn't be the new Batman because he's barely been touched by the mainstream. I call major BS. Mainstream knows him from both the Batwoman TV show and the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover. He was also in Bad Blood, fantastic movie. Justice League Dark Apocalypse War, another fantastic movie. He is in the DC Universe online video game, right? Not only that, but he was in the Telltale series and Catwoman Soul Stealer, which is a graphic, or more of a novel, right? So that's just mainstream. That's not even mentioning and including all of the Bat family comics he's within. So that kind of makes that argument fall completely apart. He is just as good as a character to take over the Batman mantle as, Dick or something, right? I would say the best solution would have been Damian, but I think we're going to get a little bit of a twist with him either being the Magistrate or Red X. Again, just theory. So, here's the problem. I've said this before. When your whole channel is negative and screaming woke at everything, nothing at all is woke. Reactionaries don't realize they are what they hate. And by reactionaries, I mean anti-SJWs too, right? So, and yes, I am going to address that statement as mildly hypocritical by the end of this video, I promise. So, let's talk about how this concept isn't new. It's something we've seen done for years. We've seen it done before, multiple times. By the way, I want to add in, it is not a reboot. I've seen that being falsely claimed quite a few times, and it's just an event. But anyways, I digress. So DC 1 Million did a very similar thing. Marvel did the same thing with Age of Apocalypse. Forever Evil, which I started reading again yesterday, kind of did the same thing. All types of crisis events in comics. This isn't a new concept. Even replacing mantles, which was a big argument in this. That's not a new concept in DC. Especially since DC is known for its legacy characters. So let's talk about second generation heroes and mantle takeovers and kind of dismantle that argument. So Black Canary, let's talk about her. She took over for her mama, right? She is not the original Black Canary. Now, Barry Allen, who is my favorite Flash, by the way, took over for Jay Garrick. Wally West then took over for Barry Allen. Do you sense a pattern here? And this is pretty normal kind of thing. Hal Jordan technically counts. I mean, not really. He would have, taken over for Abin. But to be fair, I would say that no Lanterns really count as taking over a mantle because of the Green Lantern Corps. I want to be fair, right? So what about Connor Hawke? He counts for Green Arrow. What about Rex Tyler? For Richard Tyler, the original Hour Man. And you can do the same exact thing with Dr. Midnight. Here's a really good example. Jessica Chambers. She was the daughter of Johnny Quick and Liberty Bell. She took over 2 mantles. Holy crap, it's amazing, right? She was Liberty Bell too for a while, and then eventually kind of stayed in the Jesse Quick mantle. What about Dr. Fate? This is a massive example because it's been used so many times, right? We had Kent and then Ainza Nelson. We have Eric and Linda Strauss, among many others. There's a bunch. So again, I'm trying to just show you that these things aren't a new concept, not even a little bit. And when you're claiming these mantle takeovers are woke, no. Did anyone scream at Dr. Fate when Nelson or Kent's wife took over? Were they in the 60s, oh my God, it's woke? No, it's just a concept that is used. It is a comic book trope. Now, again, I do understand worrying, okay? I don't want to be unfair. I understand customers being jaded. I do. I'm there. I was there. I understand real criticism. I think a lot of it comes down to feeling left behind in a fandom or in a community. Now, feeling left out in this fandom, and yep, I get that too. I do. I really do. So, talking specifically about comic books, right? If you feel like that's you. Being a female in a male-dominated fandom means literally never being taken seriously. So I have to fight for respect. I have to constantly get and answer comments about Facecam. I know I'd get more subs. I know this. It's not even a secret. But when you're never respected, it makes you want to earn it even more, if that makes a little bit of sense. So most have actually seen videos of me. If you watch my videos, you will have just seen one a few days ago. But they are few and far between. But that's enough, in my opinion. That's enough. I want to talk about comic books. I want to talk about politics a little bit. That should be enough. So, anyways, I digress. When you hear the same talking points over and over again, right? I actually listened to a lot of these videos before doing this video. And it was the same talking points over and over and over again. Every single video talked about the same thing. It's because they're parrots. You heard bisexual lighting, Vita Ayla bad. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a huge fan of Vita Ayla, but there is a couple stories that I like. No boobs. It's the end of the comic book industry as we know it. I'm not kidding you. I'm not going to call anybody out specifically, but there's a channel that I see weekly that says it's the end of the comic book industry. How many times have we heard that? How many times can we hear that? DC, sure, they're not making millions. Guess what? They're not costing it either. They're not going to get rid of them. They're a zero a net, right? They don't cost, so they don't care. They have done some layoffs. They have rechanged things, hoping to make money. But if they're not losing it, what's the problem? So they also skew anything to match their narrative, right? Even if that means literally mental gymnastics, or using details from an article, then spinning it with their own opinion. interfering kind of with what the person means and what should not be done, in my opinion. So what I mean by that is we have things such as, I'll use myself, me saying, I don't agree with race bending on some characters when it comes to their history mattering, right? So SJWs tend to change that to, I don't like minority characters. And that's not true. That's completely false. But me saying, if a character's history matters to them, I don't want them race or gender bent, has nothing to do with minorities. It doesn't. It just doesn't. It's not that simple, right? It's complicated. So what do they do? What do these hate bait channels do? I think is the best way to describe them. They do the same thing. They do the exact same thing. They will take one thing that a creator said and make it seem, okay, so they get in an argument with a troll that's terrible to them, right? And they say something mean, and they'll turn it around and be like, Tom King hates everybody in the comic book industry. He hates his fans. Come on. That's an SJW tactic, but these channels are SJWs. They're just right-wing SJWs. That's the difference. So, finally, I want to address the elephant in the room, the hypocrisy of my statement earlier, right? I will be the first to admit, I've said it many times, I do clickbait. YouTube is a vicious game, and if I don't get clicks, right? So I do my fair share of clickbaiting, I will tell you that up front. But once you listen to my video, I feel like I'm fair. Once you listen to my reasonings and my criticisms, I feel like they are fair and they are pretty, honestly, milquetoast, right? So I know my personality and voice are divisive. I know that. I trust me. I've been me for 32 years. I know these things. I am opinionated. I am loud. These are things some people hate, but that doesn't change the fact that I am also reasonable. That doesn't change the fact that most of you are also. I got so many great comments, great comments about this event. Now, it's woke was not a real comment. I'm not talking about that. That's parroting. I got really great comments, real criticism of why you didn't like it, real criticism of how it could be fixed or how they could tweak it to make it better. Then I got the comments that were like, oh, it's woke SJW propaganda, and that's it. No, okay, so whatever. Also, my main problem, at least for me, when it comes to the hypocrisy of that statement, is my passion for these characters. It often clouds my judgment sometimes, right? And I will tell you this, passion and gatekeeping should not ever shut people out of the conversation. Just because we or anybody have a difference of opinion, that shouldn't shut the conversation down. Those things exist. Whether you're a fan from before it was quote unquote cool to like superheroes, or you just love the Batman movies, I want to know. I want to know your opinion. And I also want you to respect and understand mine, right? It can be a two-way street because different opinions exist, always will exist, and it should exist. And we should accept different opinions and not shut them down. I don't think anytime there should ever be any sort of conversation that's completely cut off. Again, though, I am a free speech absolutist, so that kind of, maybe clouds that part of it. I think there are, though, people in fandoms that are toxic, and I do believe that they should be able to talk about their opinion, but that doesn't change the fact that those people are toxic. It doesn't make the fandom toxic. We have people that literally lie to us with fake news, right? We have people that see a woman and scream woke. We have people that co-opt different types of mediums like comic books or, and the such to sell their own product, to tell you something is bad to sell their own product. We have people that diss other for their views. They went from literally the kind of upbringing of the Anti-SJW channel to right-wing SJWs. They became what they hated. They became what they criticized. And that is something I won't do. Of course, I'd have more subs. I'd get more clicks. If I hated everything, people would click on it. But that's not worth it. You have to be able to make stuff. make videos and talk about things you love. You have to, on a normal basis, if you click on a channel and every single video is negative, it's not worth listening to. I'm sorry, it's not. And, some of them I do. So, it's a little hypocritical, but everything can't be bad, guys. Like, everything can't be bad. There are some really great stuff out there. And my music just started. I apologize. But anyways, let me know, of course, what you guys think about this. If you think I am wrong. If you think that these type of channels exist. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Hey guys, I want to give a huge shout out to my Patreon and subscribe stars. You guys literally make this channel possible. Huge thank you to Cage the Mick, Robert Mick Twiz, Black Knight Fool, Brucey, Chris Z, David L, David Rafford, Jeffrey Allen Carnes, Mighty Balls, Mike Buckner, Maizen Barbosa, Ruskart, Ryan Decker, Robert Hoffman, and Doc Holliday. You guys are absolutely amazing, and thank you so much for all your support. Don't forget on the way out to like as always if you enjoy the content and hit subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.